Okay, just want to say a few words on the passing of Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh. This was breaking news a few hours ago, so it's been dominating the news channels, naturally, especially the British news channels, BBC and Sky, since then. It's big news. It's not surprising. He was 99, and I think this was inevitable. Sometime around this time. So it wasn't surprising, but it was still big news and a shock. I suppose in the sense of even when you know someone is old, it's still a big thing when they are as important as Prince Philip was. Um, I think he was more than just a consort. Um, but even in the capacity as consort, he was the longest serving in British history. um, 67 years. Um, no, 69 years actually. Um, so it's by far the longest serving consort in history. Um, and his marriage with the Queen, 73 years. That's remarkable for anyone. So that's saying something about. I think the Duke of Edinburgh. When I've been watching The Crown recently, and I know ultimately it is just a drama, it's not a documentary, but I think they do their homework pretty well. I think the Duke of Edinburgh was a very interesting person in terms of the contradictions of human nature. So on one hand, this is a man who could be blunt, he could be even quite rude at times. Let's be honest about it. Um, he was plain speaking, and sometimes, he probably did cross the line of political correctness. On the other hand, recently someone said to me, "Oh, he had no heart." I don't think that's true. This was a man who really did change lives. We talk about members of the royal family, and most of them are patrons of some charities, but the Prince's Trust, or rather the Duke of Edinburgh Award, the Prince's Trust is with Charles, of course. The Duke of Edinburgh Award did change lives. This isn't an exaggeration. It did help, if not millions, certainly many, many thousands of disadvantaged young people. So I do think that needs to be in his epitaph. I do think that is an important thing. Um, he was into environmentalism before it was popular. I don't think he would approve of Extinction Rebellion, but he clearly had an interest in that sort of area. He was a man who was, in some ways, old-fashioned. He had sort of that stiff upper lip that you associate with the British nobility, and yet that's another contradiction of Prince Philip. For considering he was really the patriarch of the Windsors, this was a man who began as an outsider. He was an outsider. He suffered snobbery. He suffered. It's a great paradox. The great patriarch of the British royal family himself suffered snobbery. Um, Apparently, he was actually quite sympathetic to Diana and others who had a difficult time in during the time in the royal family. Um, so I think he's an interesting man. His navy career, clearly something he was passionate about. The Prime Minister mentioned that he was mentioned in dispatches at the Battle of Cape Manapan during World War II. Tributes have been coming in from around the world. Narendra Modi of India, Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand, and no doubt there will be more. And of course, from the four home nations here. Um, that's all I'm going to say now. I imagine there will be some sort of state funeral, but it will be toned down because of the pandemic. And this is something that the royal family themselves have stressed. Philip himself never liked a big fuss about things. But he did have his place in history. One of the relatively few male consorts in British history. Kind of outside his comfort zone because he's always been a man's man. So to kind of play second fiddle to his wife, I guess, for a man of his generation was a little bit uncomfortable, but I think he has been loyal to the Queen throughout this time, and it's going to be strange, for the Queen to. She's now a widow. Queen Victoria, of course, was a widow for a very long time, the widow of Windsor when her beloved Albert died. Um, but with this monarch, it's very much been a team effort, and I do think that strong constitutional monarch that she is has in large part been shaped by the support of her husband. A lot of it down to her own character, of course, but I think the Crown's quite accurate about that. Um, and it shows how in the beginning there was some turbulence in their relationship in their marriage, but over time they got closer. And I think that sometimes happens. 99 years old. It's sad that he didn't make it to 100, but 99 is a long, long life. Um, no doubt there'll be more to say. I don't think there'll be a full state funeral like there was with the Queen Mother and Princess Margaret and Princess Diana, um, because of the pandemic. But I do think, nevertheless, something big will happen because, you know, he is probably the most senior member of the royal family, apart from the Queen and Prince Charles. So that's yeah, it's big news. We'll leave it there. I'm sure there'll be other things to say about this, but I'll leave it there for now.